Hello, friends! I hope you're ready for some more creative crafting, because today we're featuring two crafts that have to do with the story in John chapter 21, which I like to call the Jesus Fish Fry Breakfast. At any rate, there's a couple of important things that are happening in this story. It's one of the post-resurrection appearances that we have of Christ, and here his disciples don't recognize quite at first who it is until they have this miraculous catch of fish and go, wait, this has happened before. It's the Lord. Well, then they come to shore and Jesus feeds them breakfast with all of the fish that they caught. And then a very significant thing happens when Jesus reinstates Peter, is what we say. Peter had denied Christ 3 times before the crucifixion. Well, here he affirms 3 times that he loves Jesus, and Jesus sort of brings him back into the fold, so to speak, and says, take care of my sheep, take care of my lambs. And Peter, of course, becomes a very important disciple and apostle, and a very important part of the early Christian church. Well, enough with that background story. Time for the fun crafts. We have one craft that's going to focus on sheep, and one craft that is going to focus on the fish element. So we will do the sheep first. Now, of course, there's quite a plethora of fun sheepy crafts, but today we're going to make a craft that features 3 sheep, and we're going to be putting them on a little background to show this 3 times repetition of how Peter said he loved Jesus. So we're actually going to start with the background, and we'll put some of our captioning on there, and then we will add the sheep to it. We're going to make kind of some little sheep puppets. So our background, I'm going to use green because you think of sheep and pastures and green, and you could use whatever. But we're going to start off by just writing down what it is that happened in this story. So we'll say, Peter promised to love and serve Jesus. And you could say something like, I will do. Or you could put the actual verses, or you've got all sorts of fun little options there. Now we'll also put something that has to do with this whole sheep dynamic element. And if you want to, you don't have to do this, but I'm going to make a little spot to put my puppets. You'll see in a moment how this puppet action is going to happen. But I'm going to make 3 little slits in the paper in which I can slide those puppets. So that one was kind of big. So there's my slits of paper. And now I can say, feed my sheep. Take care of my lambs. Feed my lambs. And you might be wondering, why is he saying this 3 times in a row? Well, it kind of goes back to the whole Peter denied him 3 times. Well, now he is saying I love you 3 times. So it works. It's fun. So we're going to put some little hearts in there to remember the Peter I love you bit. And of course, you can go to town on decorating this. Do it however you prefer, but these are just some suggestions. Now for our sheep, I'm going to make 3 little sheep puppets, and I'm going to put them on popsicle sticks here. So first, I'm going to just kind of cut some ovals for my sheep, and I'm going to give them a little head as well. So I'll cut an oval for the body. I'm not going to make this terribly big because I have limited space on the paper. And then I'm going to cut some little circles to go on top for the head. Maybe I'll cut some little ears. Again, this is not perfection. That's okay. You can cut these out ahead of time or have the kids do it, depending on how capable your crafters are. But there's my little sheepy heads here. And now you can draw on some eyes, or if you have googly eyes, you can, of course, glue on some fun eyeballs. And I'm going to use a white crayon to just draw on my eyes for timing purposes here. So here's my little sheepies. Sheep number 1. Of course, as always, get creative with this. This is just the abridged version. Happy little sheep. All right, now I'm going to glue these together and attach them to the popsicle stick. So I'll do it this way. I'll go popsicle stick, body, head. And then after I put them together, I'm going to glue on some cotton balls so we know it's a sheep. Popsicle stick, body, head, popsicle stick, body, and you get the idea. There we go. So here's my 3 sheep. Now I'm going to make some room for cotton balls, because what fluffs up a good sheep? Nothing like a good cotton ball. So now we will stick some cotton on here. Bloop, bloop. You can, of course, use bigger, smaller cotton balls, pom-poms, whatever. Sheep, 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 sheep. All right, so here's my cotton ball sheep. And you can kind of play around with these. You know, it's always fun to have puppets. But then if you want, you could tape them to the background. You could stick them on the background or glue them on the background. I have my little sticks here, and I'm going to, well, I'm going to lose my sheep, evidently. That's a different story. Then we're going to slide these little guys right in to the holes that I made. And you can pop them in and out and have fun and play around with them. But here's my 3 sheep, my 3 captions, and ta-da! We have your lovely sheepy sheep. Ta-da! So, voila, there is craft number 1, the 3 sheep of 3 affirmations of Peter being reinstated. Now, craft number 2, we're going to make is pretty simple. We're going to make a bunch of fish caught in a net. And we're going to also, of course, give this a caption, because we're all about some good captions. But I'm going to caption it with some waves. I have some pre-cut waves on paper, and we're going to put that at the bottom. This is going to kind of represent a boat, but also a net in a sense. You'll see where it's all going, don't worry. So we're going to start off with our little caption, which we'll attach to the boat, which will then get fish. So here's my waves, and we will say something like, Jesus fed his disciples. I'm just going to kind of caption this. Post-resurrection fish fry breakfast. Of course, you can put the verse reference in there or caption it however you want. As always, that's just a kind of an idea. Now we're going to cut out some fish. This is kind of fun. My fish are going to be neon today, because why not? Who doesn't love a good neon fish? So we're simply going to make some various sizes of fishies here. Here a fish, there a fish, everywhere a fish, fish. Fish, fish, fish. Okay, here's a fish. And I'm going to put some more fish together here. And you know, there are several stories that incorporate fish. So if you would like to use this for another fishy tale, for instance, the feeding of the 5,000, or the coin in the fish's mouth, or the calling of the disciples in the first miraculous catch of fish, well, you get the idea. There's lots of fish options here. So we're just going to do, I'm going to do a few fish. Now you can also write your captions on those fish too, if that suits you. Or hey, if you want to just make this edible, put a whole bunch of goldfish on it. Well, I mean, if you glue them, it's not exactly edible anymore, but you know, it could be fun. So here's my fish. Now, final step in this is going to be a little bit fun. We'll get there in just a moment. so here's my fish. And we can caption this too. Miraculous fish catch. Something like that. Woo! There we go. And I'll plop my fishies all over the plate. And then we're going to make it look like they're caught in a net. So that's going to be kind of a fun part, which also can be great for your little ones to work on some hand-eye coordination. Because we always love a good lacing project. You will see in a moment how that's going to work once I get my glue functioning. Here we go. Fish. There we go. Glue stick to the rescue. Fish here. Fish there. Fish all over the place. And then I've got my little caption back here. And all right, now for the lacing part of this, the net looking part. I'm going to take some rope, or you can use any kind of string or yarn. I'm going to cut some little slits in my paper plate to make this easier. And then I'm just going to slide that rope through the slits and slide it around sort of in a crisscross. So I'll go slit to slit and then kind of come from behind and zigzag and crisscross and do this again. Slit to slit over here. The slits just kind of help catch the rope over here. And if you have enough, you can really give it this cargo net kind of a look. Or if you want it to be more haphazard, you can do that as well. You could even have this be something like, if you'd rather have it be like a fireplace, you could put these fish on a popsicle stick skewer, if you will, and make it the frying element of Jesus cooking up by the fire. Totally up to you, but fun fish craft to remember that Jesus always takes care of his disciples. And sometimes that means a good fishy breakfast. So, our fish plate, our sheep craft, and remembering that we make mistakes, but Jesus forgives us and brings us back to him and restores us. That's the important message of this story. And of course, the fact that Jesus is and always will be with us. So, make it your own, adapt it, change it, toss it, and come up with something completely different, whatever works best for you. But hopefully this will give you some inspiration and motivation for your Sunday school hour or just for having fun at home. As always, come and join us again because we do have new messages and crafts every week. So go make some crafts, make some disciples. We'll see you next time.